I'm a big fan of putting my money where my mouth is, mainly because I love the taste of pennies. So I wanted to share with you exactly how I personally would have made a Slender Man movie. Now, we're going to solve a couple of problems with this pitch, this elevator pitch for my Slender Man film. Problems being, how do you adapt Slender Man to an effective movie? How do you do it without traipsing all over the lore that has been created by the internet? How do you do it without ruining the mystique of Slenderman? All those different things like that. We're gonna try to avoid all that and circumvent the situation and make what, in my mind, would be the best course of action for making a Slenderman film. All right, so our film takes place in a small town. In this small town, there is the legend of the Slender Man in the nearby woods. Our main character, perhaps a librarian, I don't know, comes across old photographs showing the Slender Man behind children, in the mist, behind the trees. All the photographs that you're familiar with from the internet, I don't know what you would call it, extended canon, from the original posts by Victor Surge, etc. Basically, we live in a world where those images are real, and that's pretty much all we know about Slenderman in that world. He's just a myth, he's a legend, and there are some photographs of him that have never been explained. That's it. Now, of course, the librarian starts seeing the Slenderman around, in the tree line, near her home, different things like that. Starts seeing the Slenderman around after she finds out, about him and reads up on him and looks into, what this legend is. Turns out that the person that she's seeing is somebody dressed as the Slenderman. Now, bear with me here. This is somebody who, in the style of the movie Scream, different films like that, has dressed up as a character to go around murdering people. So this character would be somebody dressed in like a tattered, rotting, kind of gross-looking, weathered black suit, with like the frayed cuffs and like holes in the suit jacket, and the tie is kind of a little bit askew. They look just dirty and scuzzy and like evil, wielding a knife, with like pristine white gloves and this white morph mask over the head, like one of those morph hoods, so they look, faceless and, just bright white. So this person is dressing up as the Slenderman and going around and committing various crimes and murders. Think of, for like a reference here, think of like the movie Hot Fuzz, where it's a small town and somebody is on the case trying to figure out what's going on with somebody going around, murdering different people in the town. And they're dressed as Slenderman while they're doing it. Now, the entire film would be promoted via previews, via commercials, via write-ups. This would be promoted as the Slenderman film, and, now Slenderman is this character, this guy who dresses up and, goes around killing people. He's like a slasher killer, like Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. And so a lot of people would get riled up about that. A lot of, people who are in the prospective audience would be like, you're not even going to have the real Slenderman? You're changing Slenderman to be a real person who's dressed up in a costume? That's not Slenderman. That's not him. That's going to be like a watered down, made up version, blah, blah, blah. And so you go through this film, figuring this out, trying to figure out who the killer is. It doesn't really matter what the twist is. It'll just be somebody, with a reason to go around killing people in this small town. No big deal. But the big reveal happens at the end, when the climax of the film takes place out in the woods, and our lead character is about to be bested by this serial killer Slenderman. They're about to be killed by him, when the real Slenderman shows up and drags the killer off into the woods, never to be seen again. So let me restate that. The actual Slenderman, abnormally tall, abnormally thin, long, lanky limbs, and alliteration, comes out of the mist in the background, in the darkness. Perfect, pristine black suit. Actual head with no face. No visible features. Takes up the killer in his arms and drags him off into the woods, kicking and screaming. Never to be seen again. So at the end of the film, we reveal that the Slenderman has been real the entire time. Best part is, we put in a bit of fridge horror. We put in a bit of fuel for like a second watching of the film, second, third, fourth. We seed some things in there and make it that the person who was the masked killer, the person who's revealed to be the guy dressing up as Slenderman and killing people, we make it so that some of the times that the librarian saw Slenderman around, it couldn't have possibly been this guy. You know, the guy who was dressed as Slenderman, you know, was somewhere else. He was in another scene. He was doing something, you know, at that time. You know, it would be impossible for him to be in two places at once. And so on second viewing, on third viewing, you realize, oh shit, some of the times when she saw the Slenderman character out in the distance, it was actually fucking Slenderman. It wasn't actually the guy who was dressed up as him. And you didn't even realize it at the time that you were looking at the actual creature beyond the tree line. Not the fake guy. But yeah, you would only realize that after seeing the culmination of the film, seeing the revelation about who the guy is, and, you know, thinking it over and realizing, wait a minute, I should go back and look because I'm pretty sure he can't be in two places at once. That must have been the real dude. But yeah, so I would do it in the vein of like Scream or Hot Fuzz. Do a bit, not too much, but a little bit of like dark humor. Because let's face it, it's a Slenderman movie. You know, you have to do a little bit of, you know, wink and nod humor here and there. Like, you know, having a a victim of one of the killings whose eyes are bleeding. You know, because, you know, bleeding eyes is like a cliche trope in creepypasta that's overused. You know, put in some, like, things for, like, diehard creepypasta fans. Put in some little things here and there for just people who were casually aware of creepypasta. You know, name one of the characters in the film Jeff. You know, just little references here and there, little bits of humor, like meta stuff, like, as I said, like Scream. And, yeah. That's how I would do a Slenderman movie. Small town murder mystery with a slasher killer who dresses as Slenderman, who in the final act is dragged away by the real Slenderman into the woods, never to be seen again. Simple. That's my elevator pitch. That movie will never be made. And if you liked my idea, too bad, because you're never going to get to watch it.